Hello students, this is Professor Faiz Raut from Jain College of Engineering, Department of MBA. Well, students, I'm in Module 5th. This will be a small lecture. In this lecture, I'll be talking about what are the small scale industries, how they are important for the Indian economy, and regarding the startups. Okay, what is the importance given by the Indian government and by the different private players for different venture capital investors for these startups. You must be studying in the entrepreneurship development subject regarding the startups more. And then finally I'll talk about a little bit about disinvestments, okay, in the public sector enterprises. Okay, so let's begin with the small scale industries. Well, small scale industries are those companies or small factories or the industries which are catering to few products, and their products is not well marketed because their audience or the customers are very limited to certain areas, certain group of peoples, and mostly their marketing strategy is through word of mouth. Okay, for example, maybe achar factory will be there or papad factory will be there in some of the regions wherein they'll not be marketing their products on the social media, just on social media, but not on the main on the local medias, but not on the national television channels or national channels, but they'll be using local channels and social medias for marketing strategies for their product. And also they'll be employing few peoples for their and there'll be a few they'll be into few line of businesses, and the products will also be limited. So these industries which are there for manufacturing, they are called as small scale industries. And these small scale industries, there are many small scale industries throughout India, and they are very important for the economic stability of India. They are small, yet they are very powerful. And because of this, what are the roles of small scale industries in economic development? And because of these small scale industries, they provide employment for many of the lower section of the society, middle section of the society, so that their livelihood can be developed, and the standard of living of these people can be improved, and the lower level employees who are getting those wages, they can lead a proper life, and India can be brought out of poverty. So small scale industries pay a so these small scale industry lead a great role in lifting people from poverty and lifting people and giving them employment opportunities, which the many public sector and many big private sector enterprises fail to do so. And also small scale industries facilitates women growth. These small scale industries are very well known to those areas, and so women find it very easy accessible to go and work there and earn some money, and they can be these women can be a helping hand for their families as well. The best example I could recollect is Amul, when it was started with as a white revolution of India, where Amul targeted women for bringing milk from their villages and delivering it to the Amul factories. So women involvement was huge in those in that white revolution, which Amul is a good example. And there are many other small organizations which help women for simple works like stitching and and many small handicraft articles and many other things. So women's empowerment and women's involvement is great in small scale industries as compared to other large scale industries. And it helps in mobilization of local resources. So all the local resources, the employees, the small savings of the and entrepreneurship talent in these regions can be utilized, which is sitting ideal, and effective utilization of these resources can be done. And it also helps ways of optimization of capital. Well, small scale industries require very less capital. A small factory and a few amount of laborers and few quantity of raw materials is sufficient for small scale industries to start. So it is easy for this small scale industry to start and optimize the capital, which is sitting ideal again. And next is it promotes exports. There are many small scale industries which you don't know, they are exporting exporting many food articles. the processed foods and many spices from India, which has been packed, and they don't require much sophisticated machinery to do that. A simple kind of machinery, or even with no machinery, they can operate their industry and can help for exports. So with no imports, we are achieving our targets of exports. So this is improving the trade deficit, the balance of payment. So small scale industries help that. Whereas if we compare with the large scale industries require heavy machinery, which has been mostly imported from many European nations. Example, Germany is the highest provider of many machineries in India, which are operating. So huge amount of foreign exchange is required for those imports, and as compared to that, less exports are being done by these industries. So small scale industry play a huge role in exports as well. And finally, small scale industries complements large scale industries. There are many large scale industries requires the parts, components, accessories, and many small things which they don't find it very cost effective to produce. So they are being given to small scale industries to produce, and small scale industry produce those small articles at a very lesser cost and at very using comparatively lesser resources, and they can sell it to these large scale industries, in which large scale industries can buy those small parts and use it into the manufacturing of their product. Okay, this was about small scale industries. And well, there are a few problems with small scale industries. For example, shortage of funds. Sometimes if the business doesn't work, it is very difficult for the person to get loans, because the person is not well off with the capital, and there is no latest technology. So if there is a change in the product category, or the requirement of the product is large by the large scale industries, it is very difficult for the small scale industries to produce at a higher quantity and at a faster rate, okay, because of lack of latest technology. And also there is a shortage of raw materials sometimes, and because of less working capital, so they'll be facing some problems. And a shortage of power. And these many small scale industries are not situated in the cities. They are generally situated in tier 2 cities or in villages. So there is a shortage of power, or huge fluctuations of power, which leads to damage of many electrical articles, electrical equipments. And many a times there is a power down in those areas, so there is no production at all. So they face a problem of shortage of power as well. And labor problem as well. Laborers will be unskilled or semi-skilled, so there will be a lot of wastage, and it requires a huge amount of time to train these laborers. And also these laborers are not paid well because of their unskilled works. And also a marketing problem. As I told you, the small scale industry don't have enough capital to market their products, so they rely on word of mouth, and because of that, their products are not well known to the public outside their own region. So it is a marketing problem with small scale industries as well. Even if their products are very well and very good quality as compared to many other companies, but because of the marketing problem, they are not able to sell those products. And finally, the quality depends. Well, if many small scale industry doesn't have a quality which is of global standards, so a few small scale industry are successful in achieving those qualities and export their products outside, but few of these small scale industries doesn't live up to that quality which they can export it to the global standards. So and even if, they don't have any fund for some of the research or development of their products as well, to improve the quality. And so that is the weakest point in this small scale industries in India. Okay, this was about the small scale industries. Next, I tell about startups. Well, these small scale industries were a term which was used from over a period of time, but during the year in the early 2000s, and this was the new term which was very well known, started appearing in media and started appearing in newspapers, which is called as the startups. Startups is also a small scale industry in the beginning. Okay, startup is just a few people with a brilliant idea coming together, investing some of their savings and getting some capital from the investors and starting their business. and taking their business to a next level, taking the business to a level in which the huge private sector industries are there. So this is what startups you are well known about the startups in India. I can start with the Flipkart, Snapdeal, Zomato, Quicker, Practo, InMobi, and many other startups in India which are very well known. And there are many startups in India which also have failed miserably because of many managerial issues, marketing issues, and many other issues as well. But when these startups got importance was in the year 2000 2011. In those years we generally didn't most of us were not aware of what startup is. And in these years 2000 2011 2010 2011, startups became a very fashionable and a popular word, and many graduates from the colleges, from the IIMs, were not opting for working in a bigger companies like Google or Microsoft. They were instead going and starting their own startup, their own business. So if we compare during the year 2000, 2012, 13, 14, 15, in these years, the startup boom was very massive, and somewhere around in 2014-15, there were 4,200 startups which employed around 85,000 employees. So it's a pretty huge number, and with 5 billion worth of investments was there in the year 2015 in this startups. And so when we know startups we know as Flipkart is the successful startup which started in India. One of the successful investment, but it approached the angel investors which are not in India, they are in China. Okay, so Chinese investment came in as the angel investors, and they invested in Flipkart. And many of the investments of Flipkart belong to SoftBank initially. Now this is being taken over by Walmart. So now again, Flipkart was not an Indian company or totally, and now it has been taken over by Walmart. So it has become an you can say American company. Okay, but these startups, with the success of Flipkart, many startups came into the market, and many mobile with the development of the Android system, many mobile phones. In the mobile phones, many startups launched their apps, and it was excellence in that. Because if I'm continuing with the Flipkart example, Flipkart excelled in the operational strategy, in the supply chain management. Okay, so this is how startups came, and it was a revolution in the Indian economy. And seeing that, the government also started supporting these startup industries and startup companies, and government also were giving them debt financing, and the refinancing companies also came. The NBFCs, which we call non-banking financial companies, also came into the market, such as Telegro, Kirana Capital, or Mudra, micro unit development and refinancing agencies. And they were helped by the government in terms of mentorship as well. And many educational institutions like IIT, IIM also started this mentorship program, in which when the students are having ideas of something to start, how to start, and how to approach, and what things need to be taken care of when they are starting up their business. And apart from that, even here we have an EDP cell, and even if you can come to Varun sir with your idea, we can guide you with your idea if you want to do a startup. Okay. Well, you might be studying many things regarding the startups in your ED subject. Okay, so I'll cut it out. Now, lastly, for ease of doing business is also important. Okay, always in India, from the beginning, I talked about license Raj. It was very difficult to get license to start a company, but it was removed. But still, even after 1991, it is India, as compared to the global standard, India is very behind. It is lacking in ease of doing the business. There are many rules and regulations of government. It keeps on changing every month or so, and it is very difficult for the person who is starting up a business and going through the regulations and fulfilling those regulations, the taxes system, So the ease of doing business is also very important. Okay, and India, if I say, it ranks 130 as per the World Bank ease of doing business index. So we need to improve the what do you say, the ease of doing business in India, and the transparency also is a problem still. Okay, so this was about the startups of India, and finally I talk about the disinvestments. Okay, disinvestments and privatization are not same, but they are very much related. Okay, disinvestment is what it is: the dilution of the stake in the government in a public enterprise. Now, this public sector enterprises, the BSNL, Air India, and many the power suppliers, the railways, the insurance companies like LIC, okay, all those things are public enterprises or public sector enterprises, which are being controlled, owned by the government. So when government wants to disinvest, that means it is opposite of invest. Invest is what you are investing your capital, okay, and you're buying some asset or buying some company or buying something. Okay, disinvestment is you're selling something and you're taking the capital back. So when there are government enterprises which are not doing good, so government wants to sell a part of those enterprises to private players so that they can get money. Okay, so this is what is called as a disinvestment, and government started disinvestment, and it got pace in the somewhere in the early 2005 and 6 and around 10-15. In these 10-15 years, there is a lot of disinvestments, and even now if you see, there is a government is planning to sell Air India, government is planning to sell a part of BSNL, government is planning to sell stakes in LIC. So what government is selling to private players is called as a disinvestments. And what do you say, government is retaining its 51% in most of the disinvestments plan, but so that they'll remain as the owner. But still nowadays government is planning to sell off the entire business to private players and totally get out of that sector. For example, in Air India is the only one company of government sector in the airline business, in the civil aviation business. Now government is planning to sell Air India. That means it is planning to totally come out of those civil aviation business. Okay, and if that happens, well, that is very good to hear, but it is very challenging and very, very risky for the Indian public, because we are tending towards total capitalistic economy. India is always a mixed economy from the very beginning. Initially it was very inclined to socialist economy. Now we are intending to capitalist economy, but it should not be totally capitalistic economy, because in capitalistic economy there are many problems which is a topic of discussion entirely. But in capitalistic economy, there is government needs to take care much more of the lower section of the society, because the bigger companies, the larger companies will have their power to control many sectors of the Indian economy, many sectors of the economy rather. But the government has to take care of the lower section of the society much in the capitalistic economy. So India always supported the mixed economic situation, but we'll have to see what happens. And finally, the Dr. C. Rangarajan was of the view that there is a compelling need to expand the activities of the state in areas such as education, healthcare, medicine, and it is therefore legitimate that a part of additional resources needed for supporting these activities come out of the shares of the public enterprises built by the government out of its resources. Okay, and these disinvestments can be made into number of ways. Okay, this happened in Modern Food, which was sold to Hindustan Lever. Okay, now we call, and many of the companies from the Hindustan Lever was sold to Unilever, so which became Hindustan Unilever eventually. Okay, and then the next way can be that government, if it is a listed company, government can offer the shares to the public. and reduce its share capital in the industry, in that company. Okay, and also government can sell or auction some of the shares to the private firms, like private placement. They can approach the private firms and offer them some parts, or some auction can be done to the private players as well. Okay, so by this disinvestments, India can it is well, disinvestment is in India was necessary, as the performance of public sector enterprises were not that satisfactory, and private sector within a span of 30 years they became the dominant player, in spite of government sector being in these sectors from more than 50 years or so. And due to these many things, the performance of Indian economy was in turmoil. Okay, and this private sector was very important to lift up the Indian economy. This was about disinvestments. Okay, so here I complete the 5th module. Okay, so next I'll start with 6th module very soon. Thank you for listening.